concert, the concert of festival bands of the 1991 Montana State AA Band Festival, the western half of the state. We're most pleased at this festival this year to have Mr. Richard Brinkman back with us as director of the percussion ensemble for the second year. I want you to welcome the percussion ensemble with Mr. Richard Brinkman.
Divided into 4 short movements. The first one, entitled March of Membranes, features the use of percussion instruments which are membranophones. The second movement is entitled Dance of Woods, which features wooden idiophones. The third movement features another type of idiophone known as metallics. And the fourth movement is the combination of all the other movements entitled the finale. I hope you enjoy the Suite for Percussion. like to play for you is an interesting one, and then it combines the elements of a Latin dance rhythm known as the tango with some Oriental flavors such as the pentatonic scale and the Chinese tempo blocks. This piece is entitled Tango de Oriental by David Tobias.
Hi, I'm Gary Gillett. I'm Director of Bands here at Billings Sky High School, and we've been running the AA Invitational Band Festival. It is a festival which will include 4 bands this year, the 3 urban high schools from Missoula, Billings Sky, Hellgate, and Sentinel, and we've invited AA school Billings Senior here also. We play for each other. We've rehearsed both days underneath the guest directorship, and one of the gentlemen is here with me now. And this is Barry Kopetz from the University of Minnesota. I'd like to welcome you, Barry.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And for working with our kids. Would you like to give us a little background on yourself, please, sir? Where you come from, what you're doing?
Well, most of my background, as you already know, is in public school teaching, and spent most of my public school teaching years in Ohio and South Carolina, and came to the University of Minnesota in 1986, and worked with the marching band, the chamber winds, and the symphonic band.
Ah, great. How did you come to be a music teacher? What got you in this profession to begin with?
What got you in this profession to begin with? We all had somebody that kind of, along the way, inspired us to pursue this as a profession. And for me, it was a combination of private teachers, but my high school band director really, I think, would get the biggest credit, as well as the high school choir director as well. Both were very strong influences. And in going through high school, all of us that were on a 9-period school day found the opportunity to take choir, band, jazz band, and if we desired, orchestra. We could get it all in, and that's become increasingly difficult, as you know, with the 6-period school days.
Yes, it's very hard on our kids just to be able to take one music class.
Exactly, and I feel at moments like they may be, you know, getting a little bit cheated on the current system, and it'd be nice if they can at least flex a little bit and get it back where some of these kids can get double experiences.
That's interesting. I'd like to have some personal observations about your experiences here in Missoula these last 2 days working with our kids.
Well, working with the kids has been a joy. They've been cooperative. We had a good powwow here, so to speak, at the end of rehearsal, and they're wonderful young people. We've worked them hard, and we've treated them like we treat our own kids in our own programs, that, you know, you need to be pushed a little bit. We need to work diligently toward the goal of performance, which is only 48 hours after the first rehearsal. And I think they've handled it very well. Never having been to Montana before this trip, it's always interesting to find out how people do things in other parts of the country and whether the students are exactly the same as where you've been before. And I would say these young people are wonderfully cooperative and gifted musicians, a lot of good musicians in the bands.
How are things similar to what you've seen elsewhere?
I think in similarity, it would have to rest in the factor that the students, I think, tend to be pretty enthusiastic if the conductor approaches the rehearsal with enthusiasm. I think a band can have several different personalities depending on who is standing on the podium, and that doesn't mean that bands can't play with certain conductors, but it does mean that if the conductor approaches them with the idea that you are qualified musicians and we expect your best, that they'll give that back. And I've noticed that to be true in other states as well. I mean, no matter what the band is like when the conductor gets first in front of them, it's after that first few minutes of rehearsal where you finally find out, are they going to follow, or are we going to have to force them to move? Well, this group, I think, followed, and that makes it fun for the guest.
Yeah, yes. What other interests do you have? Do you have other interests outside of music? Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, well.
How about yourself?
I'd say my primary interest outside of music is still in music, and that's writing. Writing music, but I regard that still as more of a hobby than a profession. I'm a runner. You know, I tend to do that to try and keep the weight off, like most people try and find ways as they get a little older. I'm a voracious reader, but I find as most band jobs require us to be in the office early and rehearse at nights, you know, we try and get things done when school is out. There seems to be very little time to do some of the things that we regard as enjoyable hobbies. So those things I think we squeeze in whenever we can. Running for me is a 6 a.m. activity. If I don't run at 6, I don't run at all. So for me, that's a hobby. The rest of my time I try and spend with my young daughters so that they know who their dad is as they're growing up.
Oh, great. How did you become, what instrument did you play? Are you an instrumentalist and a vocalist? You were in high school choir, too.
Well, choir, I think, like I say, on a 9-period school day, students will partake, I think, of opportunities as long as their schedule allows them to do it in a way where it doesn't keep them from getting their academic work done. As soon as the academic work requires so much school time that they can't participate in a band or a choir, I think they feel the pressure then from a variety of people to succeed in their academic areas and partake of areas that I still consider myself to be academically important, like music, art, drama, dance. Those things to me have equal value in the curriculum. I think when the students feel the squeeze, well, of course, they have to opt to drop out of the things that aren't going to get them into the college of their choice. And I think, personally, I think it's a sad, unfortunate statement that we're making, that we're forcing them to make that decision before maybe they're old enough to really know whether music or drama or something else is going to be important to them for the future. It's just, for me, I wish there was a way to not put them in that predicament. And you find solutions throughout the country being tried, like they call 0 periods, where students are coming in at 6:30 a.m. so they can be in jazz band. Well, that's fine, but I'm not sure the best time of the day for a jazz band rehearsal is at 6:30. How are you at 6:30 a.m.? I mean, it's difficult.
It is real hard.
Yeah, and or going to after school, and then, of course, we run into other activities after school as well. It's hard for the students.
Yep, it shows priorities. Well, thank you for sharing your talents.
Thank you. It's been fun to be here.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Providing forces for the first of our 2 festival bands this evening are the symphonic bands from Missoula Sentinel and Billings Senior High Schools. Their director is Dr. Barry Kopetz from the University of Minnesota, where he is Associate Professor of Music and Director of Bands. Won't you join me in welcoming him to the podium?
If you please, for just a moment, the band has been sitting, getting cold for just a moment, so we would like to play just a couple of chords before we begin the program. The order of the program on your program is not exact, so we would like to strike it in this order: the George Washington Bicentennial March, the Psalm for Band, Irish Tune from County Derry, and finally the variations on Lobe den Herrn. So, B-flat triad, please. Everyone give you a chance to warm your instrument, then we begin.
dragged.
soloists, please? Other soloists? Other soloists? Everybody. somewhere along the way in each program, it seems appropriate to address the audience and one's guests. I feel extremely strongly that the young people that are here before and in the next ensemble as well have demonstrated really an unusual amount of dedication. I think they would agree with something. They put up with the fanaticism of a raving maniac for the past 2 days. And they kept coming back for more, which either shows good training or a slight touch of crazy. They're different. No matter how you stack it, these young people have really worked diligently. They have given and then given some when we thought they could give no more. And for that, I am extremely proud of these young people. I am thankful that you have allowed them the privilege to participate in such a fine organization. I salute the directors who put this together, who take time, extra time, above and beyond measure. Those directors are in the audience, please, responsible for all 4 schools. Would you please stand and accept some recognition for your work, please? One thing I'd like to share with you, as a guest conductor from another state, we often wonder how will we be received by an ensemble. And I think it's safe to say that we do get fairly close to a lot of your young people in a short amount of time. As we were coming in for the program, there was one person that was standing aside, I won't give any name, and I said, "Gee, you look awfully nice this evening." And then kind of in a good-natured poke, I said, "You didn't look that nice at rehearsal." And there was kind of a snicker. And as I was walking down the hall, leaving this person's company, I heard out of the back of their mouth, "Well, neither did you." I kind of realized right away that this person felt reasonably comfortable with me as a human being, that they could say that, and I would not kill them. So, thank you for having such warm, friendly young people that have given us great pleasure to work with over the last 2 days. We closed my portion of the program with the variations on those in here.
Hi, this is Gary Gillett back with you in AA Band Festival here in Missoula. And I've got one of our guest directors with us. This is Gary Davis from University of Nebraska at Kearney. And I'd like to find out a little bit about you, Gary, where you're from, what you've been, where you got your education, what brings you here, sir?
Well, I'm a native Nebraskan. I was born and raised in Nebraska and have spent most of my teaching career in Nebraska. And this is the first chance I've had to travel to Montana.
Did you go to college in Nebraska?
I graduated from high school in Lincoln. I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then spent the next 5 years going through a bachelor's program and a master's program at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, and following the Big Red football team, all those good things. Next 3 years I spent as a naval officer. After that part of my career, I came back to Nebraska and taught at 2 different high schools, vocal and instrumental music for 8 years. And then decided it was time to travel out of the state. I went to the University of Iowa and spent...
A couple hundred miles
You
north.
bet, boy. I just had to get a long ways away from home. So actually traveled to the east, almost straight east.
Oh, okay.
To Iowa City, and spent 2 years at the University of Iowa and did my coursework for my PhD. And then started into college teaching at one of the 4 state colleges in Nebraska, which was Wayne State College, which is up in the northeast corner, up by Sioux City, Iowa. I was there for 6 years, and this year my family moved to Kearney, and Kearney became part of the University of Nebraska system. Prior to that, they had been a sister college to Wayne State in the state college system. But Kearney's a school of around 11,000 students, and a lot of potential, and my family and I have enjoyed the move and looking forward to a bright future.
Great. Now, we were lucky to get you to do our band festival here. We found that we got you between weekends. It might be interesting to find out where you've been in the last couple of months and where you're going to.
Well, the last 5 weeks I've been on the road on weekends. During the week I have my band program, which I have a methods class I teach, an advanced instrumental conducting class, and then the symphonic band and wind ensemble, and then private lessons. So my schedule isn't a lot different from a high school band director. It's just I do it at the college level. But being a college director, I get the opportunity to travel throughout the Midwest and Canada to do honor bands. And so in the last 5 weeks, I've gone from Sioux Falls, South Dakota to Kansas City. I was in Lincoln, Nebraska 3 weeks ago for the state Nebraska Bandmasters Convention. And then prior to that, I was down in Lawrence, Kansas, and then coming out here. And it's a great opportunity to meet wonderful people in the music field and work with a lot of very talented young people in the honor bands.
Well, welcome to Montana. We're glad that you can make it.
My pleasure.
You've been having a lot of experiences. How are things different here, be they musical or not?
Well, I think the major difference that I've noticed is the tremendous quality of musicianship and the desire for the entire group, because we're working with entire bands, not just an honor band. And usually when you work with, quote, a mass band product, you've got a number of students that really don't want to be there. They really want to be someplace else, but because they're part of the program, they have to be there. And mass bands are not very pleasurable to conduct. And so I had some second thoughts when I was first notified and told about the program. But wow, what a surprise when I got out here, that we have about 150 in my band, and I haven't had one discipline problem. I haven't had to really scold anyone. Now, I might have to tell someone to be quiet, but the work ethic and the desire to get better every time they play is really incredible. And I don't mean that just to, you know, the old term blow smoke in your face because I'm from out of town. I don't mean that at all. I have done interviews in other parts of the country where I've said, well, I haven't been very pleased, you know. But that's not the case here. It has just been a marvelous experience, and I'm looking forward to the concert tonight.
Great. As a prep to you coming, we got an inside line of a nickname that I don't know if it's public or not, but you know that indeed you're Mr. Excitement, and what you bring to the podium and to our kids is something special. And you know, where did you get that nickname from? What do you think?
Well, I've felt my entire career that the band reflects what the conductor does. If a conductor comes in and is extremely sour, negative person that might be an extremely talented musician but has just a whole atmosphere about him that is negative, that is uninspired, that's exactly the way the musicians will react to him, particularly high school students. And so I guess I maybe bend over backwards a little bit on enthusiasm, but at the same time, that's just me. I mean, whether I'm with my children or I'm with my band, if I'm Mr. Excitement, that's good, but I'm just really trying to be myself and get something accomplished.
And it obviously works. Our kids have warmed up to you and made some fantastic music.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your talents with us, Gary.
My pleasure.
Great.
Festivals such as this, I think it is obvious with all the students involved all, does not happen by itself. Many people have had a big part in making it run smoothly. I'd like to add several acknowledgments to those of Dr. Kopetz concerning the three fine directors, or four fine directors who have helped prepare their students and take care of all the details. First of all, to Missoula Cable Access Television, who is recording for us tonight, and we're very much appreciative of their work. Second of all, to the custodial staff and the administration here at Big Sky High School for facilitating the use of the facility and picking up after us afterwards. And probably most important, to those people who have taken students, out-of-town students, into their homes for the several days of the festival and found a place for them to sleep and fed them. We appreciate your efforts very much, because without your efforts in that way, we could not hold a festival such as this. So to all of you who've had a part in this festival, thank you very much. The second festival of bands includes students from the symphonic bands of Big Sky High School and Hellgate High School. And their director is Dr. Gary Davis, who is the Associate Professor of Music and Director of Bands at Kearney State College in Kearney, Nebraska. Would you join me in welcoming him to the podium?
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't begin to tell you how much I have enjoyed coming to Montana for the very first time and seeing your beautiful mountains and meeting so many wonderful people. I shall go back to Nebraska with a lot of new friends and new friendships. And as I thought in retrospect over the last 2 days, it seems most ironic to me. Here we have this community, and we have all these high school students together, and they're not competing. They're not trying to see who's the best. They're just trying to be united with one common goal: to make music. Their emblem of unity is music. That's so important as they go on through life, that they get together from other communities, other states, other countries, and we make music together, united. Thank you for coming to the concert. They've worked very hard and they appreciate your support. Wonderful audience, and it's always nice to play for people and you've worked so hard. To Gary and John that have helped so much on bands and their band directors, I'm indebted beyond words to tell you. I thank you so much again for inviting me, and we close the concert tonight with the most appropriate march, emblem of unity. Please sit down. Okay, y'all. Have a very, very safe trip wherever you may be going. I look forward to coming out to Montana and working with you again. Great job. Go relax a little bit.